I can't think of anywhere in the country that shows us just the opposite type of leadership than the free and open state of Florida. And at this point, Madam Speaker, I yield to one of Florida's great leaders, a freshman leader in the Republican Study Committee, my colleague and friend, Representative Kat Cammack.
Thank you to my friend from the great state of Indiana, and I'm still holding out for my honorary Hoosiers title. Madam Speaker, this week we mark 1 year since Joe Biden was sworn in as President and Commander-in-Chief of the United States. Now, there are 525 600 minutes in a whole year, and somehow Biden has used every single one of those minutes to diminish and destroy the strength of the American economy, its workers, and our national security. During the first year of the Biden presidency, America has faced more COVID deaths than in the prior year. A disastrous exit from Afghanistan, of which we are still getting Americans out, a 40-year high inflation rate, and so much more. Now, this country has spent the last year staring down a border crisis that has gone unmanaged and a pandemic that has gone unabated. In 2021 alone, there were over 1.7 million border encounters. Keep in mind, the comparison of 500,000 or less the year prior. Now, while our brave border agents were left under-resourced and unsupported, this administration first attempted to ignore the crisis, then sought to downplay the consequences. The so-called border czar, Vice President Harris, refused to visit the border and see this crisis firsthand. This amounted to criminal negligence, and Americans won't soon forget the role that Biden and his administration played in dramatically weakening America's national security. Now, as millions of illegal immigrants poured over our southwest border, COVID continued to sweep through the United States. The Biden administration was caught flat-footed, once again, on testing capacity nationwide and distribution of critical life-saving therapeutic treatments. In my home state of Florida, we had a fantastic monoclonal antibody treatment program going, and the federal government stepped in and stopped it. Why? Because they're threatened by the freedom. They're threatened by this success. Over 440,000 Americans have lost their lives to COVID-19 under the Biden administration. That is more than when the pandemic began and the entire year of 2020. Further, images of high gas prices at the pump and empty shelves at the supermarket define the first year of the Biden presidency. As our nation has grappled with a global pandemic, this administration has stood on the sidelines while Americans have struggled to get basic necessities. Every sector of the American economy has been hurt by supply chain crises caused in part by abusive Chinese trade practices, but also weak administrative leadership. On top of these mounting challenges, the Biden administration has put the entirety of their political capital behind over $6 trillion worth of so-called social justice spending bills meant to prop up failing government programs and a liberal wish list of items. The economic devastation from so much uncontrolled spending has already been felt in historic levels of inflation and will certainly be burdening generations of Americans to come. This administration's first year in office has been a disaster from top to bottom. Instead of working to change positively, Biden has worked to change our country into a population of dependents, because that is, at the end of the day, what this administration is about. Dependency and control. We can take our country back, and we will. To Americans hurting in the first 52 weeks of this administration, remember, November is coming. I yield.